So let's talk about interpersonal conflict. When you have an issue with someone, or someone says something that upsets you, or the relationship you have with someone is starting to deteriorate, what do you do? And it's hard to decide sometimes. Sometimes you don't want to do anything, or sometimes you're just so frozen from what happened that you just don't know what to do. So there are 4 ways that I've come up with that you can deal with a situation to help you manage the interpersonal conflict. 2 of them involve the other person, and 2 of them involve just yourself. So I'll go through the 4. The first option is to fight, which means confronting the other person and having an open and honest, all that good stuff with the real and the raw conversations, showing vulnerability, talking about your feelings, and all that jazz, right? And that's when you use that option, or you pursue that option when you really value that relationship with the person, and you want to, and you have that safe space to be vulnerable with them, and you know that you can trust that the other person's going to respond vulnerably as well. Or they may not be vulnerable at the moment, but it's a relationship you value. And so the relationships that I think tend or should pursue this option are marriages, right? Between you and your spouse. You should always be talking about issues. You should talk about your emotions, your feelings, something that they did upset you, you should bring it up. Don't pent it up, because and if you pent things up, you start to resent the other person, and then your relationship deteriorates, and all that bad stuff. So I always choose fight with my husband. And some days obviously I don't want to fight, but you have to keep working on that relationship. The second option, which also involves the other person, is flight. And people think, when they think of flight, they think, well, you can't run away from your problems. But when I think of flight, it means cutting the person out of your life. And that's when you have relationships that are toxic, that you've had chronic issues with this person. There's a pattern to the way they behave towards you. They're always constantly, criticizing you, negatively criticizing you. They talk down to you. They give you backhanded compliments. They make comments about, you just don't like them. And there's just been multiple issues that you've had with this person. So that's when you can choose flight, which is cutting them out of your life. And it really depends on what your values are, right? I think with friends, it's easier to cut out than family, especially if you have family values that are ingrained in you. It's really hard to cut family out, especially if it's like your mom or someone really close to you. You just can't cut them out. So what do you have as a third option? The third option is called passive aggressiveness, which is not doing anything but still holding on to those feelings, because you're kind of debating between how much do you value this relationship for you to fight, and how little do you value this relationship for you to flight. So you're kind of in this limbo area of being passive aggressive. So your interactions are like that, and I don't have to go give examples of what passive aggressive looks like. Then there's the fourth option, and the fourth option is developing your own internal mechanism, your own way of accepting the other person for who they are, and understanding that those are their limitations. That's who they are. That's their level of empathy. Then you've tried talking to them. You don't really want to cut them out of your life, but at the same time, you don't want to continually be passive aggressive, because it's not really, at the end of the day, when you're passive aggressive, you're hurting yourself and you're affecting your own levels of happiness and fulfillment. So how do you develop your own mechanism so that you can tolerate this other person and not bite your tongue until it becomes a bloody pulp? I think one of the ways is, think of it, ignorance is bliss. The less you know about this person, the less it's going to affect you. It's going to create anxiety for you. So limit contact, limit the amount of information that you have access to them, maybe unfollow them, or If they're on Instagram, unfollow, don't read their stuff. If it's someone within the family, tell the people around you not to talk about this person. I don't need to know all the nitty-gritty details of what this person is doing. And just kind of keep the information away from you as much as possible, because ignorance is bliss. But you still want to maintain a relationship with them, because you may have to see them. You can't completely cut them out of your life, especially if it's a family member and you have family gatherings and they're going to be there. So those are the 4 options. You can fight, you can flight, you can be passive aggressive, which is the least healthy option, or you can develop your own internal mechanism to deal with your emotions and accept this person for who they are. I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any other ways of dealing with interpersonal conflict.